Hello everyone, I'm Shihana, and for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about how a self driving car actually sees the world around it. So, basically, how it takes in raw data from the sensors and turn that into an understanding of the roads, the cars, and the pedestrians good enough to drive safely. Okay, picture this for a second. It's a rainy night and you're waiting to turn left. Headlights are glaring in your eyes, raindrops streak across the windshield, and there's a person wearing a dark hoodie waiting to cross. Now, if you were the car, what would you need to see before moving safely? That's exactly what perception does. It's a part of the system that detects objects, finds lanes, spots pedestrians, and keep track of how everything moves over time. So, cars don't just rely on one sense. They use a mix of senses, kinda like how our eyes and ears works together. They have got cameras which give rich color and detail, great for reading traffic lights, lane markings, and signs. Then there are LiDAR, which gives a 3D picture of the world. It's super precise about distances and shapes. And then there's radar, which sends out radio waves and tells you how fast something is moving. And it still works in rain or fog when the cameras can't even see clearly. Now, each of these sensors just give numbers, not an image like our eyes do. Perception turns all these numbers into facts like two cars ahead, one coming towards me at 40 kilometers an hour, a crosswalk with one person waiting, and lane lines curving left. That's what the car sees in a structured way. Alright, so what are the main things the perception system actually does? Well, there are four big ones. First is object detection. This is where the system looks for things and throws boxes around them. Cars, bikes, people, traffic cones, and so on. It's like answering where is it and what is it. You might have most probably seen these images wherein everything is boxed and labeled. That's object detection. Next is segmentation. Instead of just boxes, it labels every single pixel in the image. It colors the road in one color, the sidewalk in another color, cars in a completely different color, and so on. That helps the car understand what's drivable and what's not. Then we have got lane detection. This one looks specifically for lane markings and directions, where the lane starts, where it curves, and where it ends. And finally, we have tracking. Once the system finds an object, it keeps track of all it moves, like a person walking or a car turning. It assigns an ID and estimates speed, direction, making the motion smooth and consistent. And all of this happens super fast, like multiple times per second. The car is constantly refreshing what it sees. But even though it sounds like magic, it's not always perfect. These systems learn from data, so if the world is very different to what they have been trained on, they can make mistakes. Now let's go back to the rainy night example. So first we have got glare and rain streaks. Cameras struggle when bright light reflects off wet surfaces. Small objects far away might be missed. To fix that, engineers train models with more rainy weather data, use better wipes and defoggers, fuse information from radar and LiDAR to double check distances. Then there's occlusion, which means one object blocking another, like a big van hiding a pedestrian behind it. In that case, tracking helps. It predicts where the person might reappear and keeps that zone marked as caution area. That way, the car doesn't make sudden or unsafe moves. And finally, domain shift. That's where the car drives somewhere that looks new or unusual, maybe a city with different lane markings or faded paint on the road. Here, perception might get confused. The solution is to make the lane detection model more robust, use map data for hint, and slow the car down until it's sure again. Now, the key idea here is confidence. Perception doesn't just say there is a car, It also says how sure it is, maybe 90% confident, maybe 50%. If confidence drops too low, the rest of the system slows down or even stops. That's how the car plays it safe. Well, to wrap it up, perception is basically the car's awareness system. It answers three big questions: what's around me, where is it, and how sure am I? That information plus its confidence goes straight into the next stage, which is prediction. And with that, I'll hand it over to Rohit, who is going to explain how we predict and what happens next. So, yeah, that's perception, and it's how the car sees, understands, and makes sense of the world. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rohit, and today I'll be talking about behavior prediction and ethics. So, prediction, what happens next? So, if perception tells us what's around, prediction asks, what will they do next? We don't need telepathy, we need plausible futures with honest uncertainty. So, for the first setup, like imagine in a rainy left turn scene, the crucial question is the oncoming car. Will they slow and let us turn or keep coming? And what about the pedestrian near the crosswalk and they're about to step off the curb? So I'll let you know how prediction works in like simple plain English, no hard terminologies, just simple plain English. So we take recent motion, positions, speeds, and headings, map context, which includes lanes, crosswalks, and social cues, right of way, yield, then produce several likely trajectories for each agent over the next 3 to 8 seconds, each with probability. So, two kinds of uncertainty matter. First, aleatoric, which means inherent unpredictability like humans, or second, epistemic, which is like models knowledge gaps. We embrace both. More uncertainty means more cautious planning. So that was how the prediction works. There was two terminologies, but I explained them. Like first, aleatoric, which is inherent unpredictability, like humans, which you can't predict what they're gonna do, and second is like models knowledge gaps. So that'll be for that. Now, like talking about social and ethical intuition. So first, right away, or yield we say. Even with the probably safe gap, we wait if the oncoming car is uncertain or accelerating. Second, vulnerable road users. A pedestrian near the curb gets a wider safety bubble because pedestrian is more crucial. Like even if they make or commit a mistake, they don't deserve to die or get hurt. And the third is calibration. We make the model humble, its probability match reality, so it does not over promise safety. So that's what I'm saying. So if a pedestrian is doing something or does not mean you need to kill him. It's just we need to be more cautious. Or the model needs to be more humble. It does not have a like a follow up a strict hard rule set. So ethics shows up as a conservatism under doubt. We would rather break early and inconvenience ourselves than gamble on a tight gap. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. Like it's better to break early if we see a pedestrian than just risking it for the biscuit. Just to be like if the moral is too harsh. Imagine if a pedestrian goes in and the car thinks maybe I can go in without hurting the pedestrian. Maybe the pedestrian go fast or maybe slows down or gets scared of that and hit we hit him. That's not what we want. So failure modes and guardrails. Overconfident single future leads to aggressive turns. So the fix for that will be multi-model predictions plus probability thresholds. So that's what I'm saying. If the model be too overconfident, like if a pedestrian is walking by and the car will think, oh, I can pass by, it won't hurt it. So it will take very aggressive turn or maybe they kill the pedestrian or maybe hurt or do like make an injury to the pedestrian. Second, ignoring interactions, cutting off a merging car. The fix for this will be interaction aware prediction that condition on others' lack responses. So there are multiple rule set which goes in if this condition get meet then this will go in, like there should be multiple condition for that. So the last but not the least, shifted behavior, holiday traffic, rain, leads to wrong timing. So fix will be weather or context, features, and continuous calibration. So even if there's a holiday, there'll be more traffic. A model should be trained for that. Like, oh, the model should expect that there'll be more traffic, or if it's raining, the traffic will be slow because as car will move slow as of the rain, as of the less visibility. So, a micro exercise for you guys. So imagine there are two bubbles. Sorry, there are two predicted bundles for the oncoming cars. One keeps speed, one slows. At 30% of slowing, do we go? Like at 30% chance of slowing, do we go ahead? I'll say it again. So imagine there's an ongoing car, one keeps speed and one slows. So there's a 30% chance of slowing. Do we go? And the answer for that will be no. 30% not enough to bet our left turn on. So we choose a cautious plan and reevaluate next frame. That's what I'm saying. The 30% is so low, like something can go wrong as well with that. So instead of applying the plan or going with the plan, we should make a cautious plan and reevaluate next frame. So wrapping it up and hand off, prediction provides a menu of futures and how risky each is. So we have to take into consideration about like prediction needs to be literally the prediction is like literally the future, and we need to be very concise about it. Like we're not doing any harm to someone, or is it right? Is it ethical to do so? So yeah, that was me. Next, Unima will turn those futures into an actual path and speeds the car follows. Thank you. Have a good day.
So, hi, my name is Unamaya, and my job is to turn those predictive features into a safe, comfortable path and strengthen steering brake commands to execute it. No drama, no jerks. So, we can split the problem into two. The first one is planning, which means to choose a path and speed profile that respects lane, rules, comfort, and prediction risk. So the next one is control, which means like precisely follow that plan on the real road. So planning simply is just like think of a cost function. We score candidate path for safety margins, staying in lane, time to goal, and comfort. So for structured roads, a lane centered path we with safe gaps usually wins, right? So for complex scenes we explore options like wait, creep forward, or turn. So let's see the differences between A star and RRT star intuitions. Like the A star is good when we have a clear grid or graph like lanes. So when R star is good is like for exploring around obstacles. You don't need the math, just the idea that we search for low cost path. So control is simply like once we pick a path, the controllers turn into smooth actions. So longitudinal, which means the speed, keeps comfort, no head snapping acceleration. When it comes to lateral, which is the steering, follow the curve without oscillation. So two friendly names is the PID, which is simple and reliable, and the MPC, predict a few seconds ahead and optimize. So MPC shines at respecting limits like max steering rate on wet roads. So let's see what happens at rain left turn end to end. So we wait until predicted oncoming risk is low, right? So we creep forward to improve perception and reduce occlusion, and after that we commit to the turn with a speed profile that avoids mid-turn braking. So, yeah, if radar says the oncoming car is actually faster than expected, we abort the turn and settle back. So, safety is the first. So, failure modes and mitigations. Over smooth plans, miss tight gaps. Under damped control, steering oscillations. For latency mismatch, plan says turn, control execute late. So, planning and control make the car feel comfortable and confident. Finally, Pallavi will show how we glue the whole system together, keep it safe when things go wrong.
Sensor fusion and system assurance. Hi, I'm Pallavi, and in the next few minutes, I'll show you how we can combine sensors, check our own health, and fail safely when uncertainty raises. So the car doesn't just drive, it keeps its promises. Why fusion? No single sensor is perfect. Cameras read signs and lanes but struggle with glare, rain, or low light. Radar is great at distance and relative speed, but can reflect weirdly off surfaces. LiDAR could give us precise geometry, but it won't read text. So, fusion lets the strength cover the weaknesses. We do not pick a favorite sensor, we ask all of them, what do you see and how sure are you? Then we combine these answers into one calibrated confidence about the world. Fusion, plainly, how it works without heavy math. At each time step, the car carries a belief about objects and our own possession. Think of it like a map with little confidence bubbles around everything. Then we do three steps: predict, measure, and update. Predict will involve that we roll our belief forward using motion models. So, if the car was moving at this speed, where would it be now? Measure. Sensors speak up with new evidence. My camera says 41 meters, my radar reads 39. Update. We weigh each sensor by how trustworthy it is right now and tighten or loosen those confidence bubbles accordingly. That's the essence between Kalman style filters, EKF or UKF, if the world is nonlinear. In plain English, we trust yesterday's estimate just enough, we trust today's measurements just enough, and we mathematically balance them based on uncertainty. Two quick examples. Disagreement. So, if a camera and a radar disagree on distance, we don't take an average blindly. We might we weigh by their uncertainty. So, if the camera's confidence dips because of glare, radar gets more safe for that moment. Dropout. If LiDAR drops out briefly, maybe a splash of mud, we don't panic. The prediction step carries us for a beat, while the system flags reduced confidence until LiDAR returns. This is how we keep a stable, humble world model instead of ping ponging between sensors. System assurance. Fusion feeds a health monitor. Think of it as a smart watch for the car's perception stack. It constantly checks four things. One is sensor health, second is data quality, third is environment flags, and the fourth is policy gates. Sensor health. Are cameras occluded or overheated? Is LiDAR dirty? Is radar reporting normal power levels? Are we dropping frames? Data quality. Are model confidences dipping suddenly? Is the image overly blurry or dark? Are there timing skews, like radar arriving 80 milliseconds late? Environment flags. Heavy fog, rain, snow, low sun angle, conditions where some sensors underperform. Policy gates. What behaviors are allowed at this health level? When health dips, we don't wait for trouble. We enter caution modes. Slow down and cap max acceleration, widen margins, bigger following distance, larger time to collision buffers. Restrict maneuvers. For example, no unprotected left turns or tricky merges until confidence rebounds. If needed, we head towards a minimal risk condition like pulling over safely or handling control back. Assurance is what turns smart into trustworthy. Rainy unprotected left turn. Let's walk a real scenario, a rainy unprotected left turn. Before we even roll, we check wipers and defogging, and we run a quick lens clear check. We sync timestamps tightly so camera, radar, and LiDAR are looking at the same instant. We set initial caution mode because rain is flagged. During the approach, Fusion reconciles a glare noisy camera with steady radar returns. If LiDAR returns get sparse due to spray, prediction holds the track for a moment. The planner prepares the turn but holds a zero aware path, meaning if confidence dips or an object's motion gets erratic, the plan can be vetoed instantly. If If risk spikes, say the oncoming car accelerates or a pedestrian steps out, the planner is vetoed. Braking takes priority and we reassess with a wider buffer. Our logs capture everything. So, sensor health, time offsets, measurement residuals, fused confidences, the reason for the veto, and the new plan. Those logs are how we audit, improve, and prove the system is doing the safe thing for the right reason. Failure modes and mitigations. Three common pitfalls and how we counter them. Time sync errors. If data is 100 meter milliseconds stale, the fused track can lag and appear as a ghost. Mitigation. Tight clock sync, cross sensor, sanity check on speed position and watchdog that halts fusion if skew exceeds a safe bound. Overtrusting one sensor bias decisions. Maybe we loved LiDAR in good weather and forgot to rebalance in rain. Mitigation could be to cap any single sensor's influence, require multi sensor agreement for high risk maneuvers. Continuously recalibrate confidences based on live performance. Silent degradation, slow drift. The system works but confidence quietly erodes. Mitigation could be self test for blur or contrast, lens clean alerts, scheduled calibration, and automated checks comparing expected versus observed detection rates. Multipath radar reflections use ego motion consistency checks and map context. Snow or unusual lighting domain shift detect out of distribution inputs and step up the caution mode. Closing or core message could be that fusion gives us a balanced view. Assurance keeps us honest. Together, they're the seatbelts for the whole stack, and they don't make the car drive, they make it keep its promises, especially on rainy nights. Trust but verify. Thank you.